You're not invisible to women. You're being filtered out, quietly, efficiently, and without explanation. You look at your life and think you're doing fine. You have a job. You're not reckless. You're trying. And yet, the women you actually want never choose you. They fade. They keep you at arm's length. Or they never see you as an option to begin with. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Women don't reject men verbally. They reject men psychologically, early and silently. And it's not because you lack looks, money, or charm. It's because you're making 5 psychological mistakes that signal the wrong things before you ever open your mouth. Mistakes that disqualify you without a conversation, without a chance to explain. Once you recognize them, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore and impossible to keep repeating. This video isn't here to comfort you. It's here to put the control back where it belongs, with you. I'm going to show you how women actually read men, often within seconds, and why your intentions don't matter nearly as much as your signals. If you want the truth instead of reassurance, like this video, subscribe, and let's break this down properly. You're not unlucky, and women aren't random. What you're experiencing isn't chaos, it's consistency. Women respond to patterns, not promises. They don't wake up one day and magically feel attraction. They read signals, constantly, automatically, often without being conscious of it themselves. When the same result keeps showing up in your dating life, that's not fate. That's feedback. Men love to blame timing, culture, apps, or how women are today. That story feels comforting because it removes responsibility, but it also removes power. And women are deeply sensitive to where a man places responsibility. A man who believes life happens to him broadcasts that belief everywhere, in his posture, his tone, his reactions. Your results with women are not a mystery. They are a reflection. The way you move through the world, the way you regulate your emotions, the way you position yourself socially, all of it sends a message long before you speak. Women don't debate that message. They respond to it. So if attraction keeps stalling at the same point, if the women you want keep slipping out of reach, the answer isn't trying harder. It's recognizing the pattern you're repeating and deciding to interrupt it. That's where control begins. Number 1, your image is sabotaging you, and it usually happens before you ever get a chance. The moment a woman feels even a flicker of curiosity about you, she starts verifying, quietly, instinctively. She's not snooping. She's assessing risk, value, and self-control. And today, that assessment almost always starts online. Your social media isn't just entertainment. To a woman, it's a psychological resume. What you post, what you like, what you comment on, all of it tells a story about how you see yourself and how you relate to the world. Men underestimate this part because they think attraction starts in person. For women, attraction often dies online. When she opens your profile and sees you chasing attention in comment sections, reacting emotionally to strangers, flexing status that doesn't feel earned, or posting content that screams boredom and validation seeking, she doesn't get curious. She categorizes you, quickly, permanently. Here's the female reality most men don't want to accept. She reads your profile the same way you read a woman's bio, with an explicit link in it. It may catch the eye, but it doesn't inspire respect. It answers a question she never asked out loud. What kind of man is this really? And once that answer forms, she doesn't debate it with herself. She simply disengages. Fixing this isn't about becoming mysterious or fake. It's about alignment. Men who attract high-quality women don't broadcast thirst or chaos. Their online presence reflects direction, purpose, a life that's already full. Post with intention, not impulse. Let your content suggest momentum. Work, discipline, interests, standards. Say less than you could. Oversharing kills intrigue because it removes discovery. Mystery isn't manipulation, it's restraint. Women aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for self-control. And your digital footprint tells them whether you have it or not. Before you speak, before you smile, before you even make eye contact, she has already felt something. Women don't wait for conversation to decide how they feel about a man. They register him instantly. This is what psychologists call rapid assessment, but from a female perspective, it's simpler. Is this man grounded, or is he uncertain? Your body answers that question for you. How you stand, how you move, how much space you take up without apologizing for it. A slouched posture, restless hands, shallow breathing. These aren't neutral traits. They signal hesitation. And hesitation reads as weakness long before attraction has a chance to form. Men often think confidence is something you project after you open your mouth. Women know better. Confidence is embodied. It lives in stillness, in controlled movement, in the absence of nervous energy. A man who looks uncomfortable in his own body makes a woman feel unsafe in his presence, even if she can't explain why. And then there's your voice. Rushed speech, upward inflection, talking too much to fill silence. All of it communicates the same thing. You're seeking approval. A controlled, grounded voice does the opposite. It suggests certainty, emotional regulation, leadership. Women don't fall for volume or bravado. They respond to calm authority. This isn't about pretending to be dominant. It's about respecting yourself enough to slow down, to stand upright, to let silence exist without panicking. Presence is attraction before personality. When a man enters a room fully inhabiting himself, shoulders back, movements deliberate, voice steady, women notice without trying to. He doesn't demand attention. He commands it quietly. Fixing this doesn't require acting lessons. It requires awareness. Your posture should communicate self-respect. Your voice should communicate control. Your presence should suggest that you're comfortable being seen and comfortable not chasing. When those signals change, women feel it immediately. And for the first time, they stay curious instead of moving on. Number 2, your attitude is pushing women away, even when you think you're doing everything right. Most men misunderstand what confidence actually feels like to a woman. They mistake noise for strength, agreement for kindness, and emotional venting for honesty. From the outside, these may look different. To a woman, they all land the same way, unstable. The first type is the cocky man. He overcompensates, talks too much, dominates conversations, tries to impress before anyone asks to be impressed. Women don't experience this as confidence. They experience it as insecurity wrapped in bravado. If a man has to prove his value, she assumes it isn't solid. The second type is the passive man. He's agreeable, polite, endlessly accommodating. He waits. He follows. He avoids friction at all costs. He thinks being easygoing will make her feel safe. Instead, it makes her feel unled. Attraction doesn't grow where direction is missing. Then there's the bitter man, the one carrying old resentment from past relationships. He jokes about women, complains about modern dating, or subtly tests her loyalty before she's earned suspicion. Women feel this immediately. Bitterness signals unresolved emotional wounds, and no woman wants to step into a man's unfinished emotional war. Here's what ties all three together. Emotional reactivity. Women mirror energy. When you place her on a pedestal, she steps back. When you treat her like the prize, you become the audition. A man who knows his value doesn't rush, doesn't beg, and doesn't explain himself excessively. He moves with quiet certainty. Real confidence isn't an attitude. It's a byproduct. It comes from boundaries you enforce, not opinions you announce. From emotional control, not emotional suppression. From options, in life, in purpose, in direction, not from chasing validation. From a female lens, emotional control equals power. If she can easily trigger you, provoke you, or throw you off center, respect never has room to grow. But when a man remains grounded, calm, and self-directed, she instinctively adjusts to him. Confidence isn't about being liked, it's about being unshakable. And women don't chase what they can control. Number 3, you're looking for high-quality women in places that quietly repel them. This mistake feels harmless, but it's one of the most decisive. Men focus on who they're approaching. Women focus on where they're being approached. The environment does half the filtering before you ever speak. Bars, clubs, and swipe-based apps are built for volume, not discernment. They reward attention-seeking behavior, short-term validation, and surface-level attraction. That doesn't mean no good women ever pass through them, but it does mean women who value stability, growth, and long-term alignment don't live there. High-quality women choose environments the same way they choose men, based on how it makes them feel. They gravitate toward places that reflect who they are becoming, not who they're escaping. Fitness spaces, professional circles, curated social groups, travel communities, environments where discipline, curiosity, and self-respect are normal. When a man consistently searches for depth in shallow spaces, women don't see him as unlucky. They see him as misaligned. Here's the uncomfortable female perspective. If you expect to find substance in a context designed for disposability, it signals poor judgment. And judgment is deeply tied to attraction. A woman doesn't need you to be perfect. She needs you to choose wisely. This is why social circles matter more than pickup tactics. The men she respects were often introduced through people she already trusts. The environment vouches for you before you ever do. Fixing this isn't about hunting new venues. It's about upgrading your lifestyle so your environment reflects your standards. If you value health, be where health is prioritized. If you value ambition, place yourself among people building something. If you value depth, stop swimming where everything is shallow. Women don't need convincing when the context already makes sense. Change the environment, and you change who notices you and who stays. Number 4, you say you want commitment, but your nervous system tells a different story. Many men insist they're ready for something real. They talk about wanting a healthy relationship, stability, partnership. But women don't listen to declarations. They feel congruence. And when your words and your internal wiring don't match, they sense it almost immediately. This isn't a conscious lie. It's a subconscious avoidance. For many men, commitment has been wired to loss of control. Divorce, toxic parental dynamics, or past relationships where love came with manipulation, chaos, or emotional punishment leave a mark. Over time, your body learns to associate closeness with danger. So even when you want connection, your nervous system pulls back. Women pick up on this through inconsistency. You lean in, then disappear. You talk about the future, then hesitate when things deepen. You keep one foot out without realizing it. From her side, it doesn't feel mysterious. It feels unsafe. And safety is the foundation of long-term attraction. Here's the female insight most men miss. A woman doesn't need certainty that you'll stay forever. She needs to feel that you're capable of staying present without collapsing or running. When your energy says, "I might vanish when this gets real," her attraction begins to shut down to protect herself. This is why some men feel women lose interest for no reason. The reason lives below the surface. Fixing this doesn't mean forcing yourself into commitment before you're ready. It means being honest with where you actually are. If you're carrying unresolved fear, pretending otherwise only creates mixed signals. And mixed signals kill trust faster than rejection ever could. A grounded man knows his capacity. He doesn't promise what his nervous system can't support. That clarity alone creates calm. And calm is deeply attractive to women who are thinking beyond the moment. What usually kills attraction isn't commitment itself. It's what you turn into once you're in it. Women don't wake up one day and randomly lose interest in a man they once desired. Attraction fades when the man she chose slowly disappears, when his edges soften, when his world shrinks down to the relationship, when he trades direction for approval. At the beginning, you were grounded. You had a life, a purpose, opinions, a spine. That version of you is who she responded to. But somewhere along the way, many men start negotiating themselves away. They over-accommodate. They explain too much. They prioritize her emotional state over their own center. From the inside, it feels like effort. From the outside, it looks like need. Emotional dependency is subtle. It shows up as checking her mood before making decisions, as abandoning routines to keep peace, as sacrificing ambition to avoid conflict. None of this reads as love to a woman. It reads as instability, and instability erodes attraction faster than any argument. Here's the part most men resist hearing. She didn't change. You did. When you stop leading your own life, she feels forced into a role she never wanted. Emotional anchor, validator, decision maker. And women don't feel desire for men they have to emotionally manage. Maintaining yourself inside a relationship isn't selfish. It's essential. A healthy relationship amplifies who you already are. It doesn't replace you. When a man continues to move toward his purpose, maintain boundaries, and lead himself, a woman doesn't feel neglected. She feels secure. Attraction thrives on polarity, and polarity dies when one person collapses inward. The fix isn't pulling away or becoming cold. It's staying whole, showing up as the same man she chose, even as intimacy deepens. Leadership doesn't end once commitment begins. That's when it matters most. Women stay attracted to men who remain themselves, not men who disappear trying to be loved. Number 5. Your social circle is broadcasting your value long before you ever do. Men think women judge them individually. Women don't, not at first. They look at the company you keep and draw conclusions before you open your mouth. Your circle answers questions she hasn't asked yet. What level does this man operate on? How does he relate to other men? Is he respected or tolerated? This is guilt by association, and it's ruthless. If the men around you are loud, bitter, undisciplined, constantly complaining about women or life, that energy stains you. Even if you say nothing, even if you believe you're different. Women don't isolate you from your environment. They read you through it. What's worse is how influence works. You don't need to agree with your friends' attitudes to absorb them. Constant exposure rewires perception. If you're surrounded by men who blame women, avoid responsibility, and normalize stagnation, that mindset slowly becomes familiar. Familiar becomes believable. Believable becomes behavior. Women sense this drift. They feel the lack of upward pull. Here's the female lens most men underestimate. When a woman sees a man respected by other competent, grounded men, she relaxes. Respect is transferable. It signals social intelligence, emotional maturity, and leadership without him having to prove anything. On the other hand, when she sees a man surrounded by chaos, excuses, or arrested development, attraction shuts down preemptively. Not out of judgment, out of self-preservation. Fixing this doesn't require dramatic confrontations or burning bridges. It requires honesty. Audit your circle ruthlessly. Notice who is growing and who is stagnating, who takes accountability and who lives in permanent victim mode. Distance doesn't have to be loud. Proximity is a choice. Move closer to men who are disciplined, purposeful, and emotionally regulated. Men who can maintain relationships. Men who are building something. In business, in health, in character. Women assume you are cut from the same cloth as the men who stand beside you. You don't attract better women by convincing them. You attract them by standing in better rooms. And the room you choose speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Women are not complicated. They are precise. They don't fall for words, intentions, or potential. They respond to signals, consistently, predictably, and often long before emotions catch up. The way they see you, the way they treat you, the way they decide whether to lean in or quietly step back is a direct reflection of what you project into the world. Nothing you've heard here is about becoming someone else. It's about removing the noise, the leaks, the self-sabotage that's been distorting how you're read. When your image is aligned, when your presence is grounded, when your attitude is stable, when your environment makes sense, when your inner world isn't ruled by fear, women don't need convincing. They feel it. Attraction isn't something you chase. It's something that emerges when your signals are clean, when your life has direction, when your emotions are regulated, when your standards are clear and your boundaries are real. And here's the part most men miss. You don't win by being chosen. You win by becoming selective. When you show up as a man with control over himself, his environment, and his trajectory, women either rise to meet that level or filter themselves out. Either way, you don't lose. If this hit close to home, subscribe. This channel is about understanding women from the inside out, without bitterness, without fantasy, and without lies. Drop a comment and tell me which mistake hit you the hardest. And if you know a man who's stuck repeating the same pattern, share this with him. Change the signal, and the women change automatically.